Hey everybody, welcome to the SkyLounge podcast, episode number 144, and as always, thank you so much for joining me today and listening in. If you are new, welcome, and check out some of the other episodes on the page. All episodes are available on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Music, so make sure you are subscribed so you can get notified for a new episode every Tuesday. Make sure to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at the SkyLounge. Stalk me on Snapchat at DA13IG5UNG. Let's get started. If I'm going to be really honest, I haven't really been on social media the last few days. Just going to have to take care of a lot of bullshit. And that's where our topic of the week comes in, boys and girls. The Procrastination Production Conundrum. I should put a hyphen there. Kind of like a divorcee going through that shit of changing awkward surnames. What week is it? Right? Rambling aside, what week is it? Brevity is a rare thing. All right, brevity is a rare thing, especially on this podcast where I tend to mumble and ramble out a script from week to week. If that's the big if, right? I mean, we've heard, more appropriately, we've heard episodes on this podcast where you just genuinely think, oh my God, this guy seems a little deranged, seems a little bit emotionally unstable. But the thing is, right now, I've been busy with a bunch of paperwork shit. Okay? I'm not going to lie about that. Going back and forth between LA almost 3 times now. It'll be 3 times by Friday. Has got me real fucking tired. Okay? I'm not using that as an excuse for all the marginal work that I've been doing on the podcast. I'm not using that as an excuse. All I'm saying is, at this moment, physically, mentally, and emotionally, I'm exhausted. Fucking exhausted from doing all this shit. It's pretty much like a fucking cartwheel backwards with your eyes closed and your dick in a vice grip. It hasn't been feeling all that great. But here's the thing. I wanted to just settle in for some old movies and shit writing to cap off for an episode. I really did. For episode number 144, this episode, I figured, man, I'm just gonna pretend that I watch Megamind on Netflix, review a fucking album that I haven't listened to and just kind of skim off of it. And maybe something good will come out of that episode. But with my stupid ass timing and procrastination really does make a lot of sense here, because I went to the gym. Instead of writing a script, I slept all day and went to the gym. So, yes, there is that part of irresponsibility there, but at the same time, that word and phrase writer's block, I don't really care for it, but there are a lot of moments where I get that shit. I'm not claiming to be fucking Shakespeare. I'm not claiming to be Stephen King and shit. All I am is just some fucking guy with a SoundCloud account that's recording on his fucking phone, right? And here's the thing. It may surprise most people here, but I actually give a fuck about what I do. Crazy, right? Crazy. I kind of give off this vibe of I don't give a fuck. Kind of a sadomasochism sprinkled with some nihilism. But I want what I put out there to be of substance. And yes, to be fair, I haven't released quality shit. You can also make the argument they're all shit and there hasn't been anything quality in any of them. And that's totally fine, because there's room for massive improvements and also subtle improvements, which it's a tandem of both. It really is. It's not just a one, right? No one's perfect, and you can always get better. And I say that all the time. I really do. But a lot of days I don't act on it, which really leads me to talking about the Cruise Peruse, because I'm on the Cruise Peruse grind pretty consistently. For those of you who don't know, Cruise Peruse is a little bit of a YouTube segment that I started, that once I got a driver's license, I figured, what can I do on a day-to-day basis that has me talking about sports in a short trip that, I don't know, makes me kind of think on the spot. And Cruise Peruse became the answer to that. And we got about 90 episodes on there. And the thing is, I'm immensely proud of the Cruise Peruse. A lot of times I beat myself up. You hear me on this podcast all the time just fucking berating myself. Like, oh, you're not good enough, man. You're garbage. You're not good enough. Just beat off in the corner and just cry. But I am proud of the Cruise Peruse. I am. driving, talking, recording, and not dying. Most people aren't, accustomed to multitasking, but I think I do all right by average standards. I think I do okay. And here's the thing. I talk sports ball shit all the time on the segment, and I urge any of you, if you want more content, head over to the YouTube page, because I won't lie to you kids, the SoundCloud podcast, I haven't invested a lot of my energy into. I haven't. I'm going to be really honest about that. And you guys have seen the works. Last week it was an hour podcast full of content. The week before that it was an existential crisis breakdown. And it's just been kind of this oddly inconsistent thing. And here's the thing. I want to do better. And it's because YouTube kind of gives me that instant gratification of what I make, what I put out there. There's almost a reaction instantaneously because of the nature of how sports works and how popular sports is around the world. And, in the United States, if we try to narrow that down. But all of that said, I know with the SoundCloud, it's just a week-to-week thing. There's not a lot of updates. And even if there are updates, there are episodes like this where I just figure I don't have anything ready and I don't want to put it out there. But the thing is, with the YouTube channel, despite the low viewership and low subscriber numbers, I really do enjoy doing it every day. I do. And it's not to marginalize the SoundCloud podcast. It's really not. All I'm trying to do is cross-promote and hope you fuckers click. Yeah, that's one aspect. And the other is just really, I'm just exercising what I feel is fun for me. And I push contents out that I enjoy. I never push shit out just for the views. There might be contents, yes. It just so happens it's a popular thing. And I figure the timing's right to release it. Sometimes you can see that as viewership whoring, but for me it's just simply like, I just want to fucking put some shit out there with my name on it. That's really it. But the thing is, I think copyrights may be the downfall. Like, copyrights has been getting on my ass. And I gotta read through this whole new copyright, manual copyright thing that YouTube released, which is a long fucking story, boys and girls. I know y'all don't want to fucking hear about the legality of copyright claims and all that shit. But yeah, it's slowly, creeping up and just it could potentially make this all the more difficult because I go to great fucking events that I so happen to find near me, which is a real fucking first world problem. It really is. I mean, my Wi-Fi is too slow. Which funny enough, my internet did go down around midnight, so I'm just saying the coincidence is there, but yeah, it's generally a first world problem. All the shit we complain about here is a first world problem, right? But once you go beyond that, once you kind of step back and look at what you're doing, for me personally, what I'm doing, at this moment in time, I'm uploading contents. I'm uploading shit that I want to upload, right? I envy, at times, places like ESPN, Fox Radio, any of those major sports channels, because they have such a wide audience. They could just get at everybody with a wide net. But for me, I envy them at a certain point, but simultaneously, I really do treasure this grassroots approach, even though it's not the most efficient. Even though it's not the most effective. And I tend to be a stubborn asshole, so I kind of stick to what I know, stick to what I do. But eventually, evolution will happen. It's inevitable. And like I mentioned, boys and girls, I'm going to be going back to LA. Like, what the fuck? How do you muck that word phrasing up? I don't know, son. You're a dyslexic asshole sometimes. Not really dyslexic. Shout out to people with dyslexia overcoming that shit. God damn it, it's become an apologist thing now. But hey, let's get back on track because we couldn't read, and that's fine. Because like I mentioned, boys and girls, I'm going back to LA this weekend. Third time within a month span almost. And I will be working on my shit there. I know on technical vacation mode I'm supposed to relax, but like I said, man, the Sky Lounge is going through a very interesting evolution right now. And I'm not really going to delve into it. I'm not. Because I've done that before. It's backfired because of my own personal expectations and the actual execution itself. And I know it's curious, too, because we've just had these multiple existential crises on these fucking episodes. But from the crisis and the procrastination and just the detrimental way I go about doing this shit, I'm learning. Crazy, right? I've been at this shit for 3 years, but I know I'm not good enough. And some days, it's all perspective, right? This is all perspective and how you see what you want to see. Some days, when I say I'm not good enough, that shit puts me down. But on this particular day, on this particular recording, boys and girls, after weeks of dick punching from this shit I got to take care of, I'm feeling productive. Hence a fleshed out script, despite the lack of brevity. So there you have it, folks. Ultimately, stay tuned, because we're still going to go ape. And next week on the Sky Lounge, I'll be back from California, ready to fucking go. I'm not making any promises right now. I'm going to be back. That's the one thing. Unless I die. Unless I fucking die in California, because Lord fucking knows how janky that fucking city of Los Angeles is right now. And hey, listen, if anybody in LA listens to this shit and gets all their fucking panties in a bunch, I'm not attacking your city. I'm just saying from general observation and experience within the city within the last 30 fucking days, it's a bit of a shithole. Okay? So all I'm saying is if I don't die, we'll all count ourselves lucky. And hooray, we'll all get more fucking content. I mean, hooray for me, not for most of you, because I don't know. Like, do you people actually like this shit? My God, that's kind of crazy. I know, I just kind of had myself, I shit on myself, but I feel good today. But yeah, at the same time, I'm more of a backhanded slapper, even to myself. Like, dude, I'm doing good, but at the same time, I know I'm shit. But folks, enough of my rambling. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Make sure to subscribe on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Music for a new episode every Tuesday. Also, make sure to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at The Sky Lounge. Stalk me on Snapchat at DA13IG5UNG.